Mic test. Are you ready? Let's go. Yo. It is your boy, Nyes versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Beowulf Sessions. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not going to lie. This episode is definitely 15 years in the making. I wish I could do a mic drop here, but we can't drop this mic because it's definitely too expensive and we can't afford another mic. That's for sure. Whew. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I kind of feel like a pro athlete with no management. That's how I feel. 15 years in the making. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we definitely didn't opt for the Kiwi Saver on this route. I can tell you that. The path seems a little bit risky, but you know, if it ain't risky, it ain't worthwhile. That's all I'm going to say. You know, in the last 15 years, if there's anything I've learned is if you want to get out, the only way out is in. And we're definitely in the Overton window now, and if I'm not too sure, I'll let you decide if I'm still chasing the dream or am I in the dream? Am I chasing the dream or am I in the dream? I'll let you decide. But I'm super excited. You know, like you've probably been listening to the last couple of episodes, going through a lot of change, a lot of transitions, and I finally feel like my heart, my mind is all in the right place. And I'm excited for this episode. I'm going to tell you a lot of stories, obviously, in my journey so far, and hopefully give you guys a bit of ideas in terms of the things I've learned, things I feel like I've done right, which you can take away. And everything might not relate. Hey, take what you need, leave what you don't. But I hope you enjoy the session. If this is your first time listening, my name is Nigel Sashil. I am a full-time creative entrepreneur from South Auckland. I was born in a rural Fijian village called Lambasa, Bunileka, and my goal in life, my mission in life is to write a story that beats longer than my heart. All the day one listeners probably noticed a change there, but hey, I'll let you decide if I'm in the dream or am I still chasing the dream? Guess we'll never know. Let's keep going. Now, today's episode is sponsored by Feature Weddings. Feature Weddings is a wedding photo and content agency across Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. They celebrate love. They shoot love across all those countries. So if you know anybody that's getting married, go check out Feature Weddings at featureweddings.com.au and featureweddings.co.nz. Yes, I didn't stuff up my own sponsor, and you're probably thinking, Nice, isn't that your company? Yes, it is, because we don't have any other sponsors at Beowulf. Feature Weddings is keeping Beowulf Sessions alive for the last almost 12 months now. We showed up 46 Mondays in a row. I think this is episode 46. So shout out to everybody that's been listening, tuning, doing reviews. Really appreciate it. To be honest, we're almost about to hit 1 year of Beowulf Sessions, so which means we've showed up every single Monday for 12 months straight. To be honest, I still can't believe it, but we're almost there. Let's make it happen. Now, today's session is going to be about negotiation. And we're recording this I'm getting the visuals, so if you're a visual person, go check out Beowulf Sessions on YouTube. I'm recording the session for YouTube as well. And shout out to the day one listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If this is all one cut action, so if I fuck up, you know the drill. No retakes here at Beowulf. It's all one go, baby. That's how we roll. All right, so we're going to be talking about negotiation. Now, I think some of you guys might already know this, but my first ever job, right, was the KFC drive-thru in Otahu. And I remember I used to work at KFC drive-thru for I think I was 14, 15. And then I used to go home, run home, and then literally go into my dad's taxi, steal his coins, and take my girlfriend at the time out to McDonald's to buy I don't know, like a cheeseburger or something, or to be honest, a Happy Meal. I don't even know what it was, but man, that was a dream. I remember that, and life's changed. 15 years, I don't have any management. I feel like a free agent, when in the English Premier League, when a player goes on the agent leaves them. I don't sometimes for good things or bad things, but that's how I feel. And I remember, back when I was 14, 15, how things were. And that job at KFC really taught me how to interact. People used to swear at me, and like I had to really use my active listening skills to really learn and be able to communicate in different forms and different styles, and really be able to manage tones in terms of how I interact. And your voice is so important in these interactions, and how you make the first impression. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that today, because we're going to be talking about negotiation and how I've developed negotiation skills in my journey so far, and hopefully you can get some value out of it as well. And I know everybody that listens to Beowulf sessions, you've got a lot of heart, you want to give. Your change makers, your creative entrepreneurs, your designers, your builders, you like doing things. And I think if you can master the skill of negotiation, I think you'll be able to really bring about a lot of change in yourself, as well as your communities, your circles, and break negative stereotypes. That's what we do around here. And not even the stereotypes in the community, but also stereotypes in your own head. So, negotiation. The reason I was telling you about the KFC story, let me go back to the story, is because a lot of times people, used to, like, it was hectic environment, super high paced, cars driving in, you get one order wrong, you're absolutely fucked. So, like, I give it up to all those fast food workers, man. You learn so much in that environment. And I learned how to be able to communicate under pressure. And it's been such an experience. And I remember after that, a couple of years later, I had a job at a place called Cash Converters. I don't think I've actually told anybody this, to be honest, but I used to be a buyer at Cash Converter. So a buyer is somebody that buys items. So people come in and they give you items, and you offer them a price, and you try to negotiate a price where you buy it off them so you can sell it at the store for more. And, like, to be honest, if I'm completely honest, we used to rip people off because it's a business, right? You need to make profit and margins to be able to be sustainable. But man, like, I used to see people come in with all walks of life, and it gave me a vision, a mindset that I'm absolutely grateful for. But it also showed me, how our life is based on decisions, and how decisions can have a huge impact on how our future can play out. And I saw people, like, coming in and real life situations, they need to sell stuff so they can get money and go buy food and groceries, like all of the real shit. But then I also saw people that, like, came and sold stuff and then, like, literally took the cash and went straight to the liquor store to buy some durries and some smokes. So all walks of life. And I had to interact and build relationships and, like, communicate with low social economic environments, as well as high social economic environments of individuals. So I got to see both worlds and really be able to understand personality types, be able to build rapport quickly within the first couple of minutes. And I feel like, those skill sets I still use on a daily basis in any interaction. I feel like I'm using it now while I'm talking through this microphone onto this video, while you're listening to me. All of those key skills are fundamentals to anybody's success, I personally feel like. So I'm going to try dive in and give you guys a couple of things that I've learned, which I value on a day-to-day basis quite a lot. But before I do that, man, I just want to say, I fucking hate finance companies. I fucking hate those, like I'm glad I worked for Cash Converters for that bet, because it made me realize I don't want to be here forever. And if you're in a job right now where you feel like, man, it's not adding value to the world, like in a positive light, but you have no choice, I just want you to know there's a reason you're in that job, and you're not going to be in that job forever. It's trying to teach you some lessons. And if it is, to be honest, Cash Converters taught me so many lessons. And I knew that I wasn't going to be in this job forever, but, like, being a buyer and being able to communicate and learn negotiation really helped me to have this mindset, which I feel like the mindset I have now is a privilege. And a lot of times, people don't get that privilege to have that mindset, and having a mindset is a privilege on its own. So hopefully I can unlock some light bulbs today and give you some insights on this topic. But yeah, so let's dive into it. Like, But like I was saying, I don't rate it. Like it's crazy how they put like all these like businesses and like areas where like, low social economic areas, communities and vulnerable communities. It just pisses me off. So I fucking absolutely don't rate that shit. Fuck those finance companies in the hood. That's what I'm gonna say. All right. Now I'm gonna teach you the tips on negotiation now. All right. So we're gonna go down, and I'm gonna tell you the things that I value and the things that I think is gonna help you really get upskill your negotiation skill. Now I remember when I was younger, I used to hate being in interactions because I had zero confidence. And I couldn't express my ideas because I couldn't articulate my stories or be able to really communicate in a way where I might be able to sell you an idea. And I feel like I'm still learning this as I go. And I still feel like I'm not 100% good at it. But it's the process and trying that makes me feel like I'm getting better. And even if I'm not getting better, I'm giving myself confidence. So if you're in a position right now where you feel like you don't even have the confidence to be able to negotiate, I encourage you to just try it on yourself on a daily basis. Just communicate, learn new languages, learn new words in terms of how you can articulate a story. It doesn't even have to be selling something. Just try to tell a story and see if you can bring emotion in and see how people feel. But yeah, that's the foundations. But today, negotiation. Number one thing in a negotiation that I learned is don't fucking assume. Don't assume anything. All right. I remember I used to just make assumptions of how this negotiation was going to play out. So for example, at Cash Converters, like when somebody came in, I was like, okay, so I bought the last PlayStation 3 for $80. I'll get this next one for like 60. And I used to just assume that I could just get it. I'll just assume it. But without understanding what this other person's expectations were going to be. And in order for you to not assume in a negotiation is you have to be really, really good at asking discovery questions. And if I was you, right, I would spend so much time asking discovery questions because then you can really unpack their core values and their whys of why they want to sell this item or why they are actually doing the negotiation in the first place, and really dive into those topics that's really hitting their hearts. I'm still a big believer that you can sell on feelings. And you can sell on, being able to, as long as you can understand the triggers that will make them move, you can really negotiate skillfully, where both parties will leave the negotiation knowing that they won, feeling like they won, and that's the best. Actually, one of my bosses told me that, to be honest. If you can close a negotiation where both parties feel like they won, that's an awesome negotiation, to be honest. And I feel like number one step in negotiations is not to assume. And in order to not assume, you must have the skill to ask discovery questions, open questions, which can unpack the core foundation of why they're doing the sale, why they're doing this interaction. Doesn't even have to be sales related. If you're having a conversation and trying to build a relationship, you need to be able to ask those discovery questions and really take a 360 view and do the helicopter view that I always talk about before you jump into it. Now, number two is don't rush it. I remember I still do this sometimes. I used to really rush the combo, and not let the other person talk. And it was a skill that I had to really stop and move towards listening and not be a reactor. I used to go into negotiations, and as soon as I used to not hear what I wanted, I used to just react. Or in a conflict environment, I used to just react because I was like, fuck, I'm John Wick, bro, let's go. I used to be real crazy. But I feel when you can control your emotions in a negotiation and not rush it, I think that is where you're going to be able to understand the other person a lot better. and then narrate your negotiation after you have the understanding of, okay, this is what this person cares about, this is how I'm going to get it, and hey, let's try and make him feel like that he's winning this. And I think when you do that and not rush it and not make too many changes like in a quick time frame, in whatever you're trying to pitch, sell, or create, I think you're going to have some wins. So don't rush it. Really take your time, and don't be scared to walk away and come back. Like, especially if you don't know the answers. We used to do this at my sales jobs a lot. Like, if someone's like, okay, like you have the convo and you're not getting it to the deal, make sure you have the courage to walk away and be like, okay, I'll give you a call back in a couple of days and see how you're going. Don't be scared, because it's going to make the other person think, hey, look, you're not desperate for this. And as soon as you come off desperate, it's game over. So don't come off desperate. So don't rush it. All right. Number 3. This one took me a little while to learn. All right. And I wrote this down. In a negotiation, don't take anything personally. Literally, don't take anything personally. And I to this day is like, I always try to remove feelings. And sometimes it's hard to, because like with the line of work I do, there's a lot of feeling involved. And, I care about, like, especially with everything I do with Be a Wolf, it's a total different situation. Every time I go into like trying to get people or to believe in what I'm doing, it's always about, hey, look, this is the change. This is what I'm trying to do. This is the impact. This is my project. This is the outcomes. This is my 100-year goal. Like, I'm trying to show them, like, yo, this is living proof of all the actions I've taken into before I even before I get to this conversation. So they know that, hey, look, I just haven't been doing this for one day. We've been doing this shit for like fucking 15 years, if I'm completely honest. So really, like, before you get into any negotiations, just like remove, and if you get negative backlash, especially if it's like naysayers, or like if you get backlash as in like you not the answers that you want, or they're not getting it, don't take it personally. It's just not the right time yet, or you just have to like be able to really control your emotions so you don't react. So yeah, number 3, don't take it personally. Number 4, don't take a bad deal. Go back to what I was saying. When it comes to a good negotiation is when both parties feel like they've won. When they feel like, oh yeah, I really won, and the other party goes, oh yeah, I really won. That's a negotiation. A sale's different, a transaction's different, and negotiation is completely different. Negotiation is like hybrid. It's like when you can create a conversation where when someone walks away, they're like, shit, fuck, I actually won. And then the other person walks away and says, I actually won. It's crazy. But don't take a bad deal. Okay. Really, really don't over negotiate as well. Like sometimes it's better to like play the field and do the walk away tactics if you can, because you're gonna win in those situations, because then you're gonna understand how bad do you want it. And I remember, like, even in my businesses, right? I chase when I know, but like I'm never like I'm honest with people. Like, I'm very transparent. I'm like, okay, look, like especially with my wedding photography business, like, like we book weddings quite in advance. So it means that, like, dates are like, it's all on date bookings. And like, I'm like honest with people, like, you need to pay your deposit, because if you don't pay your deposit, literally it's going to go. Someone's going to book it. And I'm honest, if someone calls me and like, okay, I've already got somebody like already confirmed, but they just haven't paid the deposit yet, I give everybody chances, like one chance to a follow-up saying, hey, look, someone's going to take this wedding, this date that you wanted. If you don't pay your deposit now, I'm going to give you 24 hours to pay. If you don't pay it, it's going to the next person. And that's just me being transparent, because like, you can't wait on people's promises. And even in life in general, like, you can't wait on people's promises. Sometimes you got to go make your own path when it comes to like, creating the life you want to live. And sorry, I'm going a bit off topic there, but you get what I mean. Like, like it's being able to not rely on people's promises until you know that it's actually real, and just be really good at follow-ups. Like that example with the weddings that we book and stuff like that. It's just all about being really transparent, and you don't have to over communicate as well. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past where I've over communicated negotiations, and it's really fucked me up really bad, where I've just given too much information, and they come back and say, okay, I'm overwhelmed. So only give the information that's going to be relevant to the person's circumstances. And that's why the discovery questions are so important, especially when you're talking and things like that. Number 5, be the first one to make an offer. I don't know. I feel like this one is a good one in situations where you don't want to sort of overpay. I'll give you an example. I was in Bali once, for maybe 6 years ago now. And you go to the markets and everybody tries to hustle you in Bali in Asia. And I remember I used to walk into these stores, right? And it was like a fake NBA jersey. And I used to I saw people trying to barter, have a conversation and try to get a deal. And I remember I used to walk in and I used to see a jersey and I'd be like, yo, $10, bro, I'll take it right now. It's $10. And then I used to go in and make the first offer. And I used to lowball the offer because I already knew this. If I was like, oh, hey, bro, what's the price? He would have told me $100 off the bat. And I knew if I go in and just as soon as I walk in, I'll be like, oh yeah, bro, I got $10 here. Let's go. Be so direct. And then as soon as I give him a price first, he's like, no, it's too low. And then he's like $50 because he already knows my expectations. Do you know what I mean? Especially in those environments, like in a market, it's completely different negotiations. Obviously not on a board table, it's going to be different, but just gives you an idea where sometimes you have to make the first offer before someone else tries to take extra advantage of the situation that you're in, especially if you're a tourist, right? Fuck, they're going to try to take all your money, especially if you're not a local and you don't know the actual value of the things and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a quick example from Bali. Sometimes you have to make the first offer. Number 5. Number 6 is use words wisely when you negotiate. Language, tone, stuff like that all kind of plays a big part, especially when you're trying to narrate a story. You need to be able to use your words where it not only creates feelings but also creates desire, because the fundamental that a lot of time people forget is that desire is what you need to build. Because if you don't build desire in the person in terms of what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to negotiate, they're never ever gonna feel like they need this right now. So you need to be able to create a story which builds desire, and once you build desire, then you'll be able to light the spark in them to be like, oh shit, I actually might need this, and I might need this deal, and in order to create desire, it goes back to that number 1 story, you're going to be able to ask good discovery questions. Now, I don't even know what number I'm at now, so I think it's 8 or 9. Be a good listener, and it goes back to that KFC story that I told you in that drive-through. The active listening skills is vital. Being able to actively listen to triggers, to conversations. And I remember I used to work at an insurance job, and I used to be able to be on the phones, and I had to listen for triggers like, when can I cross-sell? What I mean by cross-sell is when can I get a trigger? So I'll ask the person oh, so we're insuring your car today. Is the car parked in the garage? Do you own or rent the house? And they'll be like, and it's not even part of the quote flow. And they'll be like, oh, I actually own a house. And then straight away I'll be like, oh, that's a trigger of, oh, I can cross-sell this into a house. And then I'll be like, oh, sir, did you know that you get 20% off if you insure your house with us with your car? And they're like, oh my God, that's fucking great. Let's go. And that's it. It's about being able to actively listen in terms of the words that people are saying in negotiation, because there's always something that you can lean towards, where it's like you're either negotiating one deal and then suddenly you listen to something else and then you can like, oh, I can bundle this deal and I can give you this now because I know that's what you care about. So actively listen and ask those open-ended questions to really make it happen. But like I said, all goes back to number 1, discovery questions. I think we're at number 9, number 10. Make sure you offer that win-win scenario. It's probably the most important, and I've talked about it a lot in pretty much all these little tips and tricks. But I think if you can create a negotiation, a deal where both parties walk away thinking they won, you're gonna kill it. To be honest, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna be able to create desire. You're gonna be able to create good relationships, and you're also going to be able to do, follow-up deals, because the person knows that, you're being transparent. You're not trying to take advantage of anybody. You're just being completely honest, and in terms of what you're doing, and you're open. Like you're somebody that knows how to articulate stories in a way which can make people feel like, hey, look, this is something I really need. So yeah, that is today's session. Really touching the surface on the whole negotiation thing. I think we'll dive into this topic a lot more in one of the later episodes as well. I'm going to try unpack it as we go, but I think like if you can kick off with that and those examples, like at KFC, cash converters. This is all real life stuff. Like, I'm not making this shit up. This is like all the stuff that I've learned in my journey so far. And really, like, I think this is a skill that is vital. Like, it is absolutely vital. Like, if you can master this shit, like, you can fucking do anything. Like, you can literally, like, a good business owner, if they don't know how to do this, like, they'll never be able to sell shit. Like a good creative entrepreneur, if they don't know these basics, like, they're never going to be able to do shit. No matter how fucking creative you are, if you don't know how to sell, you're never going to make money. Like, it's like, what do you really want? Like, I'm not saying like, like turn your passion project and try and make money. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes like, you need to be able to know these fundamentals so you can create opportunities. And then after you create those opportunities, you can go do the shit that you really want to do, live the life that you really want to do. And, the jobs, the situations, the environments, like if you're listening to this and, you're still working at KFC, like, I used to work there, and I used to like feel like, man, there's so much more I can give to the world, like, and learning those skills at that young age gave me so much more confidence now in terms of like being able to listen, being able to negotiate, being able to sell an idea, being able to create offers that create desire in people. And I think I'm getting super passionate now, but like, you get the gist. Just fucking keep doing it. We're about 30 minutes into this session, and I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody listening every single week. Those downloads are absolutely skyrocketing up, and we're going to keep this whole like trend going where we record the video for YouTube. I feel like I'm sometimes butchering it hard, to be honest, but no retakes. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. That's what I try to be as super transparent in these sessions, to be honest, and I sometimes say the wrong thing or the wrong word, and I go back and listen to it and I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. But fuck plans for retirement, man. Fuck plans for retirement. That's what I'm going to say. We're going to go all the way in. We're going to unpack this shit. We're going to create it. We're going to make you who you're meant to be. And then after that, we'll come back and chill and have some G&Ts. No, we're not going to have some G&Ts, Nigel. We're going to go for an ultra marathon run, 45 Ks tomorrow. That's what I like to hear. This episode just went off track hard. But yeah, you get the gist. Beowulf, keep going. Shout out to our sponsor, Feature Weddings, for sponsoring this episode. That's me. 15 years in the making. Let's go.